before the first cry echoes from the newborn's lungs, before the spark of conception finds its place in the womb, before even the stars under which a person is born are aligned, there is a choice. That choice is not made on earth. It is not made with human hands or minds. It is made in a realm outside of time, beyond physical form, in the mysterious and sacred dimension known as the pre-birth plane. This is where every soul writes its contract, the blueprint that silently shapes the entire course of a life. But what most don't realize is that this process is far more intricate, far more profound, and far more purposeful than we could ever imagine from our earthly perspective. Chapter 1. The nature of soul contracts. A soul contract is not simply a vague intention or hopeful wish. It is a precise, binding agreement made by the soul before it incarnates into a human body. This contract outlines the soul's primary themes, its karmic debts and credits, the lessons it must learn, the people it will meet, and the major events that will challenge or support its growth. Think of it as the ultimate screenplay, written by you, for you, starring you, but authored by the highest, wisest version of yourself that exists beyond the limitations of human consciousness. The soul does not enter this process casually. It enters with full awareness, full consent, and full responsibility. This is the soul's most sacred act of authorship, the divine scripting of its own evolution. But here's what makes this even more extraordinary. These contracts are written with such precision that they account for multiple variables, backup plans, and alternative pathways. Your soul doesn't just choose one rigid path. It creates a dynamic, living document that can adapt to the choices you make while still ensuring the essential lessons are learned. Chapter 2. The Council of Creation. Many don't realize that soul contracts are not created in solitude. The soul is guided by an intricate network of spiritual beings, each serving a specific purpose in this cosmic collaboration. At the highest level are the Council of Elders, ancient, ascended beings who have transcended the cycle of reincarnation. These elders don't dictate the soul's choices, but offer perspectives, asking penetrating questions like, what will you carry forward from your previous incarnations? What debts must now be paid? What gifts are you ready to develop? How will you serve the greater tapestry of existence? Acting as spiritual advisors rather than cosmic judges, they help the soul remember its eternal nature and see the bigger picture across multiple lifetimes. They might show the soul how a particular challenging experience could accelerate its growth by centuries, or how choosing to be born into a specific family could heal generational wounds that have persisted for millennia. In addition to the elders, the soul is often accompanied by its soul family, a group of interconnected souls who reincarnate together across many lifetimes, playing different roles in each incarnation. These souls might appear as lovers in one life, enemies in another, parents and children in a third, and sometimes even strangers who appear only briefly but change everything. The soul does not randomly select people for its journey. It chooses them with surgical precision, understanding that each relationship serves a specific purpose in its evolution. It may even agree to experience betrayal, abandonment, or heartbreak if those experiences are necessary for its growth. Some of the most painful events in a person's life may actually be sacred agreements made in love before birth. Consider this. That person who broke your heart may have loved you so deeply on the soul level that they agreed to play the villain in your story, knowing it would catalyze your awakening to self-love. That parent who seemed absent or critical may have volunteered to teach you independence and inner strength. These are not random occurrences. They are carefully orchestrated soul agreements. Another crucial group involved in pre-birth planning are the karma keepers, entities who maintain balance in the soul's karmic field. If harm was done in a past life, They offer experiences to help the soul feel the other side, not as punishment, but as balance and understanding. In this way, pain becomes a chosen teacher, restoring harmony to old wounds. The karma keepers work with mathematical precision, ensuring that every action eventually finds its balancing response. But they operate from love, not judgment. Their role is to help souls complete their learning cycles and free themselves from karmic entanglements through direct experience and compassion. Unlike guides or advisors, the watchers serve as witnesses, holding the record of the soul's intention. Like cosmic notaries, they do not interfere, but they remember. When the soul strays from its chosen path, they initiate subtle reminders. A chance meeting, a prophetic dream, a near-death experience, or even a crisis that redirects the soul back to its original trajectory. Chapter 3. The Hidden Complexity of Contracts. Among the most secretive truths about soul contracts is the fact that many contracts are layered. There is a primary contract, the one most people live by throughout their lives, and beneath it, hidden secondary and even tertiary contracts that only activate after major life events. The primary contract governs your everyday existence, your family dynamics, career inclinations, relationship patterns, and general life themes. But the secondary contract lies dormant until triggered by significant events such as the death of a loved one, the collapse of a belief system, a mystical awakening, or even a major illness or accident. This is why people often feel as if they are living a completely new life after such events. In truth, they are stepping into a deeper level of the contract that was always there, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The secondary contract often involves accelerated spiritual growth, expanded psychic abilities, or a calling to serve others in ways that weren't possible in the primary contract phase. Some souls even have tertiary contracts, emergency protocols that activate only in extreme circumstances, providing alternative pathways when the primary and secondary routes become blocked or no longer serve the soul's highest evolution. There is also a crucial distinction between light contracts and shadow contracts. Light contracts are those written for the purpose of healing, building, teaching, and awakening. These are usually joyful journeys, though they still involve challenges necessary for growth. A light contract might involve being born into a loving family, discovering natural talents early, or meeting soulmates who support your evolution. Shadow contracts, on the other hand, are agreements to experience and even cause deep suffering, often for the evolution of the soul or the transformation of others. These contracts are not evil, but they are heavy. A person who chooses to be a catalyst for others' awakening through betrayal, or who agrees to experience severe trauma to break generational patterns, may be fulfilling a sacred shadow contract agreed upon in the timeless halls of the soul realm. Understanding this doesn't diminish the reality of pain or excuse harmful behavior. It simply reveals the deeper spiritual architecture beneath life's most challenging experiences. Chapter 4. The Temple of Choice, where contracts are written. Beyond language, memory, and time lies the Temple of Choice, a vibrational realm accessed between lifetimes, known also as the Hall of Mirrors, Chamber of Origins, or Celestial Library. It is where the soul, in full awareness of its eternal nature, drafts the sacred soul contract for its next incarnation. This temple exists not in space, but as a frequency in the astral and causal realms. Imagine a crystalline structure that shifts and morphs according to the soul's needs, filled with light that contains information, and surrounded by geometric patterns that represent the infinite possibilities of experience. Here, the soul undergoes the 360-degree life review, feeling the impact of every past action, both pain and joy, not as punishment, but as deep understanding. This review spans multiple lifetimes, revealing all karmic entanglements, spiritual attainments, and unresolved wounds with perfect clarity. With this comprehensive understanding, the soul begins encoding the contract, not with ink, but through geometric imprints and vibrational signatures. Each life element, family dynamics, traumas, illnesses, relationships, spiritual awakenings, is embedded using what are called glyphs of consequence. Multi-dimensional symbols that anchor chosen experiences while allowing free will to shape how they unfold. These glyphs work like quantum programs, creating probability fields that draw specific experiences while maintaining the sacred space of choice. This is why your life can feel both destined and freely chosen, because it is both. When selecting life encounters, the soul engages in co-contracting, mutual agreements with other souls to meet as great loves, betrayers, children, teachers, or brief but significant encounters. These are not casual pacts, but forged through emotional alchemy, a fusion of soul intention and spiritual resonance. Some soulmate contracts may take several incarnations to align perfectly. When they do, the connection feels destined because it truly is. The recognition is instantaneous because the souls have been preparing for this meeting across multiple lifetimes, fine-tuning their ability to serve each other's highest evolution. The soul also engages in timeline threading, choosing from many probability strands in the quantum field. These threads shape what we call destiny, yet the soul maintains the ability to leap timelines through deep transformation, including near-death experiences, spiritual awakenings, or enduring a dark night of the soul, altering the trajectory of its life contract in real time. This is why some people experience dramatic life changes that seem to transport them into completely different realities. They haven't broken their contracts. They've activated alternate pathways that were always available within the contract's architecture. Chapter 5. The Soul's Sacred Choices. Perhaps the most shocking element of contract writing, one that has been carefully hidden from the masses, is that the soul also chooses its pain thresholds. This means the soul determines how much suffering it is willing to experience in a single lifetime to achieve its evolutionary goals. The soul may choose to experience addiction, mental illness, the loss of a child, imprisonment, or even war. It does not do so masochistically. It does so with the deepest reverence for the growth those experiences can bring. The soul understands that trauma, when healed, becomes wisdom, that suffering, when transformed, becomes strength, and that the deepest wounds often become the source of the greatest gifts. This understanding doesn't diminish the reality of pain or suggest that we should seek suffering. Rather, it reveals that even our most difficult experiences serve a higher purpose and can become gateways to profound transformation and service to others. In rare cases, a soul may even write exit points into its contract, predetermined moments where death is possible but not required. These are usually placed at times of great stress, completion of major karmic lessons, or when the soul has accomplished its primary mission. If the soul chooses to stay at an exit point, it's often because it has remembered something of its deeper mission or feels called to serve in ways that weren't initially planned. If it chooses to leave, it returns to the higher planes and begins planning again. These exit points are not failures. They are choices made with love and wisdom. Chapter 6. The Veil of Forgetting and the Dance of Free Will. Before the contract is finalized, the soul must imprint it into the energetic body that will descend with it into human form. This body, often called the light body or causal body, carries the vibrational coding of the contract. It sits in the aura like a silent blueprint, always present, subtly nudging the individual toward their highest path, even when that path leads through shadow. Then, just before descent, the soul enters what many call the Veil of Forgetting. This is the most mysterious moment in the entire process. As the soul prepares to enter the womb, It forgets the contract it has just written with such care and precision. This forgetting is not a flaw in the system. It is a feature. It is what allows free will to exist. If you knew everything you had agreed to experience, there would be no mystery, no authentic emotional responses, no genuine growth. The forgetting is the ultimate act of trust. Trust that you will remember at the right time, in the right way, through the right triggers. You come into this world as a baby, unaware of the vast sacred architecture that surrounds you. And yet, everything you are about to experience, the joy, the pain, the losses, the miracles, has already been signed into motion in a sacred hall where you once stood in full remembrance of who you truly are. Chapter 7. Recognizing your contract in action. There comes a moment, often quiet, often unexplainable, when something in your life feels too precise to be random. You meet someone and feel as if you've known them forever. A door slams shut only for a window to open in a way that feels divinely orchestrated. Patterns emerge, repeating through people, places, dreams, or even disasters. The first and most immediate sign of your soul contract in action is repeating patterns, especially in relationships. If you find yourself consistently drawn to the same type of person, experiencing the same betrayals, or facing the same emotional themes across different contexts, it is almost always an indication of a contract at work. The soul does not give up easily. It will repeat the lesson until it is integrated. These repetitions are not punishments. They are sacred nudges, opportunities to master the lesson and graduate to the next level of your evolution. Another unmistakable sign is irrational familiarity. Have you ever walked into a place you've never been and felt an overwhelming sense of recognition? Have you met someone and felt instantly unreasonably close or unreasonably repelled? These moments are remnants of soul memory. Though your conscious mind forgets the contract, your energetic body does not. It remembers the vibrational imprint of past agreements. That déjà vu you feel when meeting someone is often the heart remembering a prior encounter, the soul saying, "Here they are, the one who agreed to meet you again." Certain wounds in life are not just emotional, they are catalytic. They crack the ego and force a confrontation with the deeper self. These include losses that feel unbearable, betrayals that shatter your worldview, or illnesses that strip away your identity. These wounds are not random. They are often pre-selected pain points in your contract. The soul, in its wisdom, agrees to them because it knows they will bring about the deepest growth and often prepare you to serve others who face similar challenges. When you begin to awaken to your soul contract, life starts to speak in symbols. Numbers repeat, books fall off shelves, strangers speak the exact words you needed to hear. Events unfold with uncanny timing. These synchronicities are the language of the divine, signals from your higher self, spirit guides, or the contract itself, trying to steer you toward remembrance. Perhaps the most awe-inspiring sign of a soul contract in effect is the moment of awakening, that pivotal instant when everything shifts, when the veil begins to thin, and you realize that life is not just happening to you, but through you and for you. This awakening may come through beauty or grief, through loss or love, but when it happens, you begin to see patterns as guidance, people as mirrors, pain as initiation. You begin to see your life as crafted, not chaotic. That is the soul remembering the contract, remembering that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the author of your own sacred story. The most humbling truth in all of this is simple. No soul is forced into anything. Every contract is written by the soul itself, with full awareness and consent. The soul is not a victim, it is a creator. The suffering in this life, though brutal at times, is often the fulfillment of a promise made with the highest wisdom. Understanding your soul contract doesn't mean becoming passive or fatalistic. Instead, it means recognizing that you are playing a much larger game than you imagined, one where every experience, no matter how difficult, serves your ultimate evolution and often contributes to the healing and awakening of others. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where your soul chose to be, learning exactly what it came here to learn, serving exactly the purpose it intended to serve. The contract you wrote in that sacred temple of choice is unfolding perfectly, even when, especially when, it doesn't look that way from your human perspective. Trust the process. Trust the journey. Most of all, trust the infinite wisdom of the soul that chose this life, these challenges, these gifts, and these opportunities to remember who you truly are.